article in the New York Magazine, and then it came out in some other places. It was on that happiness class that's at Yale University. Her research says that 50% of a person's happiness is dictated by their DNA. You don't have control over it. How does that sit with you? I mean,
yeah, we would. It depends really on how you're defining happiness here. But the philosophy very much says the same thing, is that the way you experience your life is because of your demeanour, is because of your temperament. Now the word that we have used is vasanas, but what the philosophy says is that each person's temperament dictates the way that they experience their world. So in that sense they're saying the same thing. But what we're really talking about here is not defining what happiness is in terms of a particular state, but really whatever your circumstances are externally, whatever your circumstances are internally, what can you do to move yourself in the direction of greater well-being? And if it turns out that 50% of your happiness is dependent upon your DNA, well, then that's just the circumstances you're working with. Right. If you're born into a very poor family, those are your circumstances. If you're born into a wealthy family in a wealthy country, those are your circumstances. And you're always going to have to relate to those circumstances in a way that is progressive and towards growth, irrespective of where you're starting and what the circumstances are. So that's where we talk about Vedanta as being the subjective domain. You know, we get a lot of questions regarding things like brain chemistry and neuroscience and all this kind of stuff. A lot of these questions are dealing with the objective domain. You know, if a person is agitated, what does it mean is going on in the brain? Or if the brain is functioning in this way, what can the person do to... That's all very interesting, but from our perspective, we're only looking at the subjective element. What's it like internally? Who cares what part of the brain is firing or anything else is going on? What's the subjective experience like for me, and what can I do to manage that experience? So I have greater self-awareness and all those other things that we've been talking about.
Thanks. Yeah. And circumstance is a key word there. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, whether it's an internal or an external circumstance, we've got to find a way to relate to it or work with it.